everybody, and welcome to Switched On with ITTN. Today I'm speaking with Tony Roberts, who's the Vice President for the UK and Europe for Princess Cruises. So a year on since everything changed in our industry, what's the biggest change you see in the cruise industry?
It's been an incredible year, as everybody knows, and we've really seen the cruise industry impacted incredibly by everything that's happened. And March 16th was when we were the first major cruise line to voluntarily stop sailing. At the time, I think all of us thought, well, it'll be a couple of months and we'll be back. And of course, here we are, a year on from that now, and still working on those return to service plans. But I think it's been a huge year of learning around the resilience of this industry, and we've been knocked and hit so many times, but keep coming back and keep pushing forward. And I get a real sense of excitement about everybody's so excited to get back on board ships and to get back on holiday, and feeling really like actually it's going to have huge value for everybody when they do. And I think some of the things that we took for granted, we won't. And holidays, I think, is one of those things going forward. That, for me, I think is going to be the biggest change. Is that people have realized how much they value their holiday time and getting away with friends and family, and spending time traveling and seeing new places. And I think this last year has really taught us how valuable that is to us. So I think that's going to be a huge change.
And on that topic, obviously a lot of people have pushed off their holidays to the following year. Where are we at with the FCCs and Princess Cruises?
Throughout this whole process, our policy has been to be very open and honest about what's going on, right from the beginning. And our approach has been to have a very fair and equitable process for both our guests and for our travel agent partners as well. So we've been very clear that we're protecting commission, but also that the guest has a choice. They can take out the future cruise credit, which has an additional value if we're cancelling their holiday, or they can have a refund. And guests can continue to make that choice throughout the process as well. So if you originally chose to take an FCC now and you wish to have a refund now, you just need to let us know, and we'll arrange the refund. So I think one of the things that we've been really keen to do is to make sure that not only do we communicate really clearly with our partners and with the guests, but also that the process makes them feel like actually we're a company that you can trust and a company that you want to come back to. And we're continuing that approach as we continue through this process, really. I had this conversation with our president, Jan Swartz, a few months ago. She asked me, what are the things that you think we've got right? And I think this is one area where we've really lived our values, which is to make sure that we're true to our values, and that we recognise the importance of that connection with both our guests and with our partners.
Going back to that point about traveling, where are we at? Have you launched the 2022 season Fly Cruise program?
Interestingly, what we're seeing is that we've still got some demand for the back end of 2021, and we're feeling quite excited about the remainder of this year, and particularly sort of late summer and into the end of 21. We're seeing really strong demand for Caribbean sailings in the first quarter of next year. We've got the summer, and we're getting to the place now where most of so the summer for 2022 is on sale and has been for a while, and we're putting on sale the winter for 2022 and into spring of 23. And amazing demand across the whole of those future sailings, really. Interestingly, in the Irish market, we're seeing strong demand for some of the longer haul destinations. So in particular, Hawaii is doing very well for us. We're seeing demand for Alaska, but also for even further away, Australia and New Zealand seems very strong at the moment as well. And we've just put a new Australia and New Zealand program on for the end of 22 and into 23. And I think that's partly because, as you say, fly cruising is very popular. And we're seeing, because people have missed out for a year, we're seeing strong demand for those real bucket list holidays. People who I think have put off or have not been able to travel, and they're thinking, well, maybe that next trip is the one that I've been planning for a long time. And it might be that cruise to Hawaii or Australia, New Zealand, or a trip to Alaska. And that's where we're starting to see the demand for, certainly for 2022 and beyond.
I suppose the question on everybody's mind at the moment is vaccinations. Tony, are you going to have staff vaccinated? Are you going to expect customers to be vaccinated? Are you going to expect both? Any answers, any insights?
I understand this is very much in people's thoughts, and we get asked by guests quite often now, what's your policy going to be on vaccinations? It's the news about vaccinations is incredibly positive, and I think it really helps us to see a roadmap out of the pandemic and out of where we've been. I think that it will always be, or certainly in the near term, it's going to be part of the approach rather than the whole solution. It really is a very multi-layered approach that will still rely on testing and on increased safety and health measures on board the ships and as part of the sailings. But vaccinations definitely helps to manage some of the risks and to help us reduce those risks even further. So very much part of our plans going forward. What we haven't done yet is looked at whether or not we should make sail with only vaccinated guests or anything like that. I think that's a very difficult thing to do. And it's also quite a tricky thing from a crew perspective, because our crew come from all over the world. And as part of the strength of our brand is the huge diversity of the crew on board, and what they bring to Princess. And I think one thing that we have to be very careful not to do is have our crew jump the queue, so to speak, in terms of vaccinations. So this is why I think it's very much part of the solution rather than being the whole solution going forward, certainly in the short and medium term.
And I suppose on to what I want to talk about, which is onboard experience, the Ocean Medallion. So give me a little bit about it. Where are we at?
When we conceived Ocean Medallion, I think it was around removing all of those friction points within the holiday experience, and it certainly does that, and provides some fantastic, I guess, opportunities to personalize the guest experience when they're on board. What we've also seen, actually, as we've been through this period of pause, is that actually the Medallion helps us to deliver many of the health and safety aspects, and also to remove some of the concerns that guests have when they're returning. And a couple of great examples are things like, actually, before you travel, you can pre-book your embarkation slot, and it helps us to avoid queues at the terminal and queues at security and things like that. So places where we would have a number of people together at a point in time, we can manage that much more effectively with the Ocean Medallion. And once on board, we have touchless payment, we have touchless opening of doors. We are able to manage the flow of people through the ship because we have an understanding and visibility of that. We know whether the restaurants are busy or whether the bars are busy. But also you can do things like, you don't have to muster. So if you've been on a cruise before, you have to gather people in the muster stations. Well, with Ocean Medallion, we know that you've checked into the muster station and you know where it is. And you can also view the safety video on your personal device or on your stateroom TV. And we know that you've done that as well. So we're able to put some of those safety things in place without actually having people gather together or have to queue or go through any of those processes. But then from a guest experience perspective as well, it really does change the game, because you can order food and drink, pretty much everything on our menu, from anywhere on the ship. So if you're sat on your sunbed, you don't have to get up and go and queue at the bar. You don't have to go to the restaurant or through to the buffet or even to the pizzeria to get your lunch. You can just order it on your app and it will be delivered to where you are on your sunbed or in your cabin balcony or really wherever you are in the ship. So you avoid that having to go and queue or be in a place where you're in close social contact with other people. So it will, I think it removes some of those friction points or stress points as well from the whole experience. So we're really excited about taking the features that we'd already introduced, but also demonstrating that how in a post-pandemic world, actually, it really continues to enhance and further enhance that experience for our guests. You can't have this experience anywhere else within the holiday market right now. So we're hugely excited about it, and over the coming months we're going to be showing even more about how it's going to further enhance that cruise experience.
Have you a message for the trade north and south in Ireland? Have you anything you'd like to say to finish off the interview?
We're incredibly grateful for the support that we've got in Ireland from the trade. We are trade only in the Irish market, as everybody knows. We've worked, I think, in partnership. We've not always got it right, but we've always, I think, been fair in our approach, and we really appreciate the support that everyone has given to Princess, and the encouragement that we've had from everybody in the trade. And we know that it's been an incredibly difficult year, and that we're not through it yet, that there are still challenges to come, but really we're with you every step of the way. And I think we're all looking forward to a brighter future when we can be sat on a sunny deck sailing away from somewhere and sharing a drink or two in the future. Can't wait.
Thank you, Tony, for joining us today, and we really wish you all the best, and we hope to see you in Ireland very, very soon.